Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, introducing you to my Dark Souls video walkthrough. So we're in the Darkroot Garden, and I am running down the right hand side of the Crest of the Artorias door. This is a pathway that leads towards the Moonlight Butterfly, but it also leads towards some other goodies if you come over to this strange looking tree that seems to be pulsating and moving. And that is a pretty tough tree, because this halberd is a destroyer of worlds, and that tree took it pretty well, took it like a champion. But these little guys here, I'm not sure of the name of them, but they're the only enemy on the game that drops the green blossoms. And for anybody who's thinking seriously of getting into the PvP aspect of the game, the green blossoms will come in handy if you want to have an aggressive and a fast style of fighting. Because it's essentially what the shield is doing on my back. For a short period of time, I think it's like a minute or 2 minutes, it enables you to recover stamina quicker. And against the environment, I never really dabbled with it, but through my voyage into PvP, I've used it quite a lot. And when you use something, you realise how useful it is. So, against certain bosses like Ornstein and Smo, and perhaps the Four Kings, it could be a really useful item to pop before you encounter them, so that you've got that little bit of an advantage. Especially with the Four Kings, because it's all about speed killing the kings, and you do get some breaks between the spawns if you kill them quick enough, so it's a perfect opportunity to use. But that one fell through the map, so I couldn't get it off that one, so that was a little bit disappointing. That enemy clearly has the debugger coding, because he knows how to glitch under the land. But I watched the Gamescom trailer yesterday, which is a little indication of when this commentary is happening for the Prepare to Die edition, PC edition. And I'm really excited. I actually wanted to download it and then do a breakdown of the stuff that I noticed and the stuff that I felt, but every site I tried to download it from asked me to log in, and I was just too fucking lazy to do it. So I'll probably pass on that, because I also noticed in my sub box that Epic Name Bro has just done one, and he does a pretty damn good job of it. So it's not like I'm against doing something because somebody else has done it. It's just a lot of the stuff I noticed, he noticed as well, and he elaborated on it perhaps better than I do, because he knows a lot more about the lore. And I was just going to point out the things from like a gameplay mechanics standard as I noticed. And I also watched a couple of developer videos that were taken from Games Radar and GameSpot, where I think it's something kind of community manager representative or something daft for Namco Bandai. He plays through some sections of the new DLC, the new section in the PC edition, and I was really excited about it. I was really stoked, because it's ridiculously how much I'm into this game right now, and how much that content is just, I'm craving it, I'm really craving it. And when I watched him play, it was hard to watch, if I'm completely honest. It's a little bit similar to some of the footage that's come out from Black Ops 2's multiplayer that they're having in that event in Cologne in Gamescom. Because there's the stuff with the pros playing, which I can watch all day, because I've got nothing against that, but there's random footage that's turned up on the internet where it's like developers, or it's just people that are, you know, maybe press, maybe journalists, and it's people that aren't very good. And this is not me coming off as some kind of elitist, or, you know, I can only watch the best of the best, but it's very difficult when you're better than the person you're watching. And that is not even an ego thing, it's just an observation. So for the Black Ops stuff, when you're watching that person play and you spot the enemies and he doesn't recognise them, and then he dies, it becomes a little bit frustrating. And there's stuff like when you want him to get on target and shoot them because you know that he has enough time to do it and he doesn't. And there's nothing wrong with that, it's just, it makes it, personally for me, difficult to watch. And it's the same with the Dark Souls presentation that was given. The dev that was playing was a self-proclaimed hardcore Dark Souls player. He had a modded well, I say modded, it was a debug character, so all his stats were 50, his endurance was 99, and he had, you know, he had some decent enough equipment. He had 50 divine blessings, and he was dying and getting his ass handed to him by standard enemies. He was pulling massive mobs and just getting gangbanged, and doing jump attacks into enemies' unblockable attacks. It's, I don't know, just, It was difficult to watch, but at the same time I was nerding out because all the information I was seeing was just like sensory overload, because there's a lot of cool stuff that's been shown. And they've confirmed pretty much 4 bosses in the DLC. One of them, of course, is the Crazy Cat Guardian boss, which looks a bit cheesy. But I have noticed that in the arena where you fight it, there's a couple of land masses that maybe you don't absorb the lightning damage through the water, so maybe it's kind of like, you know, the Demon Centipede, where you've got to keep out of the lava to, well, not necessarily once you get the ring, but it's safer to try and, you know, avoid the lava as we teleport over back to the Asylum. Which I've just cut that out there, folks. You have to sit in that nest for a good minute if it's your first time. It's extremely dull, but, you know, they decided to make it that way. And if this is your first time coming to the Undead Asylum, be very careful of these dredgelings with the fire. These guys are so dangerous, it's not even funny. I generally like to fake them out, make them do the jump, and then punish them on the recovery frames. As you just saw then, you can interrupt them before they hit you, but if they do hit you, they do... I mean, look at that, that was 1 touch. And he can do like a 5-hit combo, which is just as powerful as that single touch. So I would have died if that had happened. For any Demon Souls fans in the house who haven't played Dark Souls yet, you will recognise this moment as this is Snuggly the Crow, and you are able to drop specific items to trade with him. You'll notice I'm going to be dropping a bunch of the mosses because they give you Twinkling Titanite, and the weapon that I got early on, which is this halberd, this uses Twinkling Titanite to upgrade, so I can effectively turn this into a fuck you weapon extremely quickly. If you want a full list of the trades, just search in Google, because there's one on GameFAQs that I used when I first played. It tells you everything you can get from it, and it's really useful. But as I've specified in previous videos, the only reason I'm moving towards using this halberd is because it dropped, and it is a random drop, and there is a massive chance that you won't get it on your playthrough. You could get a different weapon, a different Black Knight weapon, which I would advise you to spec towards. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. Use the Drake Sword, use the Lightning Spear, and just have the backup Pyromancy that I've been showing you how to upgrade, because the Pyromancy breaks the game. It is so powerful. And a good example of how powerful it is, this is not in any way skill related, this is just what happened. 2 members of the podcast that I am a part of, the Time Cop crew, fought Ornstein and Smo for their first time on this game. One of them died against him, against the bosses, maybe 5 to 10 times, and got really frustrated before they beat it. The other one beat it first time. Now, guess which one had the upgraded Pyromancy glove? Exactly. That is how powerful that weapon is. And that is why I would stress to start as the Pyromancy, so you get it as early as possible. Ooh, I'm going to take on the Stray Demon. Interesting. I've got very low life, but luckily enough, this is a boss that once you understand him, you can do it without taking any damage. The trick to it is to get as close to him as possible and try and stay behind him. When he lifts his spear up like that and thrusts it into the ground, it does an area of effect, run away, come back, get a couple more hits. Watch what he does as he tries to turn around. He's doing the exact same ground pound, move away, move back in, get a couple more hits. He's doing the same thing, move away, wait for the explosion, go back in, couple more hits. This is a good boss fight actually for using a Green Blossom, because your stamina on this is tested with all the running and attacking you need to do. That right there is his butt stomp. Make sure you're out of the radius of that. He does have quite a strange AoE, so just be careful. But when played correctly, this boss is a cream puff. You just need to always be trying to turn around him, because he'll then try and adjust, and while he adjusts, he generally uses the attacks that are easy to dodge, like these ones he's doing now. The only time this guy is a threat with an F, how dare you, is a threat, sorry, is when you're in front of him. Because if you're in front of him, he'll do the fire attack that has a really weird window of evasion. It's super tough to dodge, and if you're far away from him when you're in front of him, he will hit you with his crazy axe, and it does ridiculous damage. He drops a Titanite slab every time. He is the one guaranteed way of getting a Titanite slab in the game, which is nice. There are others, but they involve ridiculous like side quests that can be kind of awkward, and you can mess them up. But that boss just then, folks, if you're dying against it and you're having a real rough time and you don't understand how I did what I just did in the video, don't worry. Everybody's like that when they first fight the Stray Demon, and I thought that guy was impossible. And it just clicks. You fight him enough, you understand his moves, you get the rhythm, and it just works. It makes sense. And you'll be able to beat that guy with a level 1 character in no time, because there's no excuse to get hit once you know what he's throwing at you. The only times you will get hit is if you get careless, and it's very easy to get careless. But here's an example of how dangerous these fire guys are. I just killed the stray demon without taking any damage, and one of these guys nearly kills me. Look at that. If he'd have connected with one more of those like spaz attack hits, I would have died. That is how lethal this enemy is. This enemy is more lethal than that giant fat dude we've just fought. So be very, very careful. But we're coming to the end of the video, guys. I will be speaking more about the Prepare to Die edition in the next video, because I've got a lot in my system. But I think I'm going to have to keep talking here, because when we get to the end of this, I'm probably going to transition directly into the top of the Firelink Shrine. Oh no, I'm showing you the cutscene, so maybe that's in the next video. But thanks for watching, and you take care now.